आज मैं आपको मिलवाऊंगा मिस्टर जॉन जॉयस से, एक ऐसी शख्सियत जो कि इंटरनेशनल अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर के खिलाड़ी रह चुके हैं। वह भारत से 7 समंदर पार हजारों हजारों किलोमीटर दूर रहकर भी न्यूजीलैंड के एक सुंदर व छोटे से शहर ओटाकी के पास स्टेंटन नाम के एक आश्रम योगा रिट्रीट सेंटर चला रहे हैं, जो कि 10 एकड़ में फैला हुआ है। वह 50 सालों से ही चल रहा है। मिस्टर जॉन न्यूजीलैंड की सॉफ्टबॉल टीम व सॉकर टीम से खेलते हुए एज अ टीम वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप में 2 गोल्ड मेडल व 1 सिल्वर मेडल भी जीत चुके हैं। वह भारत में वे एक बार नहीं कई बार विजिट कर चुके हैं। तो आइए मिलते हैं मिस्टर जॉन जॉयस से। वे पूछते हैं उनसे कुछ सवाल भारत में उनके एक्सपीरियंस व विजिट के बारे में।
How do you do, Mr. Tao?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Nice to meet you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Ram Ram.
Ram Ram.
Thank you very much for giving us time to make this video.
You're welcome.
My first question is, let us know about something about you.
Basically, I suppose you'd like to know a little bit about my connection to yoga and meditation. I first started yoga and meditating because I love my sport, and my sport was my passion. And in order to get the best out of myself, I started practicing yoga and meditation. So I've been involved in the path for 40 years, I suppose.
Oh,
yeah,
it's a long
40
time.
years of yoga and meditation. Wonderful time. Best time of my life. So I played internationally in America and other parts of the world with the national team, the national New Zealand team. We're Black Sox softball team, yeah. And we were very fortunate to win 2 gold medals and 1 silver medal in world championships. It's wonderful.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Plus our national soccer team as well. That was a wonderful thing as well.
Excellent.
So, yes. It is true for a lot of international sportsmen and women that actually when you start introducing something like meditation or yoga into your practice, into your sport or into your business, doesn't really matter what it is, you're going to become better. Because you actually, whether you're an artist, a musician, a sportsman or a businessman or woman, or even in relationships, everything improves. Everything improves when you practice yoga and meditation. And I can testify to that. And I know lots of friends also who've got benefit from it.
Okay,
You achieve your potential. You get closer to your potential.
John, my next question is, when you visited India first time?
When I left my university studies, the first thing I did was travel overseas, and one of the first places I went to visit was India.
Excellent.
So back in 1981, I spent 6 months traveling around India, myself and my wife. It was a very wonderful time.
Excellent. Yeah, okay.
India is our lifesaver, is the world's lifesaver from my point of view.
How?
Because although the West has this wonderful gift of bringing materialism and technology, advancement in so many things, with the mind and so on, the East and India particularly has developed its spirituality. And it's kept it. It's been going obviously for thousands of years, and it's developed it hugely. So as the West was growing and developing its technology, the East was continuing to grow its spirituality.
Wow.
And without spirituality, technology is going to destroy us. We can see that already. The West, the world itself is destroying itself because we've become too greedy, and because we've become too material, and because we've become too mind-based. And now the spirituality of the India is coming now into the West and bringing this gift that's going to save the world.
Any special experience about India, if you have, please share with us.
Oh, lots. I have lots. In my second visit to India, so I've been to India a few times now. Okay. My second visit to India, I went to the Maha Kumbh Mela. That's the one in 2000. And that's the one that happens once every 144 years, I think.
Wow.
I understood there was about 75 million people who went to that.
In one Kumbh Mela.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, an unbelievable experience. Thousands and thousands of people all going to bathe at the same time in the same sangam. It was quite. It's the juxtaposition of intense fervour of devotion, and the interior become interiorized and become so centered on just being there and being part of it. And you have all of the experiences of humanity all in that one place, you know. So much activity and yet so much stillness. But what amazed me is the kindness that's coming out of people, that you could make, that the Indian people could make something function when there are thousands and millions of people there in one event, and yet everybody had somewhere to sleep.
Yeah.
Everybody had food.
Yeah.
Everybody was treated well.
Yeah.
All the little lost children generally got back to their parents. And everybody got to bathe, or at least most people.
Yeah.
And yet it still functioned. It's still something. So actually, we in the West here, we really believe in what you see, you get, that we believe in the material world, that we believe in the scientific approach.
Yeah.
That science is going to solve all our problems, that technology is going to solve all our problems.
Yeah.
Well, to some degree it has, but what we found is we became slaves to our technology and slaves to our science and slaves to the material outer world. And what we never took into account was the inner world. We have an inner world as well.
Yeah.
And this inner dimension is what yoga and meditation brings in. And rather than it being a belief system, it's quite the opposite from my point of view. It's not a belief system at all. It's a system that can be proved through science and technology. It's a very, very provable and scientific system. It's a step-by-step system, yoga and meditation.
Yes.
So that to get balance, true balance, we need to have a balance of material,
Yeah.
mental, emotional, and spiritual.
Yes.
The West is for what it really is. It's just a tool that we can use. That our real happiness belongs inside of us, is not outside. And so this wonderful gift that India and the Eastern cultures have brought to us, and to tell us that actually your happiness exists inside of you. And we've become so reliant on technology and outer experience that we lost that. So now I see India caught in the same process, that it has this beautiful gift that your happiness is inside of you, but it looks to the West and says, you have all these nice things, nice cars, nice all sorts of TV programs. You watch movies in America and you see everybody having all these wonderful things, and you think they're happy. They're not happy. Don't you believe it? They're pretending to be happy, and it looks good in the movies, but actually they're also suffering. They're suffering just in a different way. And we in the West, we have spiritual suffering.
Yeah.
We don't know our direction. We have no long-term belief system in ourselves in the direction of our culture. So we have lost this. And the interior world that gets developed through meditation and through yoga is the great, great gift that India brings. Now, India will also start to move back to this as well, because I know that in India a lot,
Yeah.
you're not meditating as much as you used to. Perhaps.
Yes.
Because you look to the West and you think, materialism is a good thing.
Yeah. Our investors also in India, they more going to the technology. They feel the Western culture is so good, technology is so good, everything is there. Don't need to be go for meditation, yoga.
Yes.
This is really very good information for them to be
Yes.
Make a balance of that.
Yeah, balance is the important thing.
Yeah.
Because every culture has something great. Every culture has something
that's true.
great. Now, the Indian culture has something very, very great. And this is the spiritual world, the inner world that you know about. It's becoming automatic for you.
Yeah.
Like in the West, we talk about our sports teams.
Yeah.
In the East, you talk at least about perhaps some of your temples and some of your saints, and everybody's willing to go along to visit their temple
Yeah.
and listen to satsang.
Yeah, that's true.
People in the West, we're not interested in that. We're beginning to become interested in
The next question is about the retreat center which you're running.
So this retreat centre that you've come to visit,
Yeah.
and you've taken some photos, that's wonderful. It's a beautiful little centre
Yeah.
in the lower North Island
Mm.
that has been running as a retreat centre for 50 years.
50 years.
50 years, yeah, and it accommodates, well, in your terms, small numbers, but in our terms, everybody has sort of a single room or a double room, and we have about 30 or 35 people can sleep here. Some very enlightened people set this centre up.
That's great.
And I've come to take it over because those people got a little older and now they wanted someone young like me to come and take over. So, yes, it makes me young running a place like this. And now it's set up, continuing to set up as yoga and meditation. But the people who come here, it's set up to be universal. So that we have many groups come and they run their own retreats. We have Buddhists come, we have Christians come, we have Taoist groups come, Tai Chi groups, we have yoga groups, we have meditation groups, we have sometimes readers and writers and poets and musicians who come. So it's open for everybody, all different walks of life, as long as it's towards a spiritual aspect to develop our higher selves. Everybody's welcome to come and share. And we keep the costs down. One of the principles of India is your ashrams are open to everybody and they're open often to donation. And this is what I like to do, is to keep the costs down or have people just donate what they can.
Visitors wanted to go India from everywhere in the world.
Yes.
So what advice you like to give them?
Good question. That's a good question, Mr. Tao. Yes. I was thinking what word was arising. There's one word that's arising right now. It's patience. Patience. You know, from a Western point of view, we're so used to having everything move so quickly. And going to India the first time when I went there, just trying to change a traveller's check or getting a train ticket. It took half a day or more. Patience, trying to get anywhere. It's wonderful, patience. Another thing is be in the moment. Just be in the moment. Because the wonderful gift that India brings is, because you have to be patient, you have to let go expectations. And when you're in the moment and traveling in India, the joy of seeing all sorts of wonderful things that I experienced that I was never able to experience anywhere else. I was sitting in a railway station once in India, and it was a long day and I was tired, and a lovely young woman was feeding her family just a little bit of chapatis and sabji. And she looked over at me and she offered me some chapatis and sabji too. And that touched my heart. You wouldn't get that in the West. But when we're patient and when we stay in the moment, we see these things and we see the joy and the gift, the kindness of the people in your country.
Yoga and meditation, where stands in the Western culture?
What's been happening, it's taken off. It's become exponential. When I first started back in the 70s and 60s and 70s, I was particularly interested in the Beatles, who went to India, and they met up with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi and transcendental meditation. And so they learnt about that. Now a lot of the Westerners learnt about yoga and meditation through them. And from that point, it slowly took a while to go, and then it just all of a sudden started climbing. So now we're seeing a mindfulness, a version of meditation being introduced into schools, into school programs now. Some governments around the Western world are actually embracing it and teaching it, taking it on as a principle or a policy. In New Zealand schools we teach it. In businesses, some businesses are using it to actually help improve the thinking process of their employees. They're paying for their courses, and they're getting benefit because the employees are more efficient. The same thing's happening with yoga. So every now and again we go to a business group and we do a yoga class there, and the company pays. The employees love getting something given to them, a yoga class, and they find almost every time in the afternoon productivity and efficiency has gone up. So now, for instance, in New Zealand, we have about 1 in 2 to 1 in 3 people, adults, who do yoga of some sort. That's a big percentage. Almost half of the adult population have done yoga, at least 1 or 2 classes, and probably 1 in 5 are doing a regular yoga class of some sort. So it's really taken off in the West.
What advice you wanted to give to the youngsters of the world?
Yes. Well, particularly I'd like to give some advice to the Indian youngsters, but also the same advice applies to all youngsters of the world.
Yeah.
First of all, what a wonderful thing to be young. It's a wonderful thing to be young. One of the problems that I noticed that I had, and it happens all around the world, is that we always think that everybody else has something better than we have. Always. The grass is always greener somewhere else. That some other country has something better than I have. It's true, other cultures have good things, but not better than what I have. And so what I'd like to say is that, particularly to the Indian youngsters, is that they have something very precious in their culture. You have something very precious in your culture. And the mistake we all make is we tend to throw out our own culture for the benefit, or what we think is the benefit of the new culture that's arising. The Western culture or someone else's culture, because we think they have it better. They don't have it better. They have it different.
Yes.
And embrace the difference, but keep the wonderful parts of your own culture.
One of the guru in India or somewhere in the world said that if we start yoga and meditation from the school, this conflict all over the world go to end.
Wow. Yes, wonderful, ideal. That's wonderful. And I can see as a general principle that could come about like that. One of the things we are doing or not doing is we really are failing our youth. We really aren't giving our youth the very best that we have. And our duty as a society and a culture is to give our young people the best that we have. And often we're not treating them very well, and we're not giving them the best we have. And one of the messages we're telling them is that your answers always lie outside of you. You always are. What you're looking for in life belongs out there somewhere. Get a good job, get a good relationship, earn lots of money, have a house, do all these things, whatever, travel. And that's good. But what happens is it ends up, there's a conflict starting to arise in us from desire. And that conflict is not so easy to satisfy. And we try and we try and we try to achieve all of these things. But the conflict and the frustration continues to arise. The war that we're having in the world is really symbolic or a manifestation of the war we're having in each of ourselves. And if we can teach our children, if we can give our children tools that minimize the conflict inside of them, then we are going to minimize the conflict outside of them.
That's true.
And so one way of minimizing the conflict inside of our children, first of all, not give them too many desires. They don't need to believe that actually everything that's going to satisfy them exists outside of them. It doesn't. The outside world is not going to satisfy them. Number two, give them some tools to allow them to go inside. To go inside and using meditation to become aware, to become still, to fall in love with themselves. How about that for a new idea? Let our young children fall in love with themselves. My God, imagine if all of our young children learned to fall in love with themselves. What would happen to war and conflict?
Wow.
It would disappear completely. And yoga and meditation allows the possibility, gives them a tool to start falling in love with themselves.
That's true.
And now we minimize the conflict inside us. We've automatically minimized the conflict outside of us. And this is what this saint was saying, that if we teach yoga and meditation in schools, we will get rid of conflict. Absolutely, if it's truly practiced. Give our children the best we have.
Great.
These are the best things we have. This true knowledge and this true wisdom is the best we have. Not the fact that they have a new car, not the fact that they can travel around the world 3 times faster than we ever used to. This is not the best we've got. Not at all. Happiness and peace is the best we have. Give them that. Give them that.
Mr. John, as you visited India many times, can you explain something, any word you learned from India in Hindi or any other language? You know, there are so many languages in India.
Sometimes greeting each other, namaste. And at the end of a yoga class, we'll say namaste. And at the end of meditation, we'll pray and go to the divine within. So namaste, as I understand it, is this beautiful expression, and I explain to my classes that the God in me bows to the God in you, that I recognize you as divine, The divine part of me recognizes your divine part.
Mm.
And we sing.
Mm.
We sing in Sanskrit or Hindi, bhajans and kirtan in our classes, in our meditations. And it's become much more acceptable. So we can sit in a class and we can sing Ram Ram or Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And so on we go, and we'll repeat it over and over. And people, even if they don't even understand the meaning of that, the energy and vibration that is set up with that, and repeating it over and over and over, brings them into stillness. So the Western mind needs to become still. We're really enjoying the stillness of these gifts that you have. And so it brings us into stillness. And we don't even sometimes tell them what the meaning is, because we have an aversion to the idea of God sometimes in our culture. So they're repeating this, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And you see everybody begins to slow down. Then at the end of that we might chant Om, Om. And we explain to them the meaning of this universal sound vibration, and they feel it. We all feel it. We feel it. And this is another way of bringing unity to the whole world. We're bringing the world back together again. All of our brothers and sisters coming back together again. This wonderful thing. During this time I was working and living in Rajasthan.
Oh, it's very hot.
Very hot, yeah.
So what do you experience?
Jodhpur.
Yeah.
Yeah, and right in the middle there. And we were building a large Om ashram, which can be seen from outer space. A huge ashram in the shape of an Om, 5 stories high. And in the middle of summertime, it was getting anywhere between 40 and 50 degrees, but often around 45 degrees.
It's
very,
too much.
very, very hot. It was so hot we had to pour the concrete in the dark at night under light, because you couldn't pour it during the daytime. You couldn't handle anything metal. For me, I could only get outside for 10 minutes at the most. 10 minutes. And I was drinking liters of water every hour. And yet many Indian people were able to survive and work. That was an amazing thing to see.
In your discussion about you also have one guru, Yoganandji. So can you explain a little more?
So my guru, Paramahansa Yoganandaji, was sent to the West by his guru. He was one of the first. After Vivekananda, Yoganandaji was the next one. He came in 1920. His job was to show the true teachings of India and to compare them to the true teachings of the West through Jesus Christ, and to show the similarities, that they're basically exactly the same teaching.
Okay.
My guru Paramahansa Yoganandaji is one of the special gifts that India has brought to the West. You have, as part of your wonderful legacy, great saints. More great saints in India than probably anywhere else in the world combined. And one of those great saints is Paramahansa Yoganandaji. And he's a very contemporary figure, recent. And he was asked by his guru to take the teachings of India to the West, and to take the very best of India. So he went round India and talked to many fellow teachers and saints in India, and then took the best of that, and then took it to the West. And to show, the purpose was to show the similarities between the true teachings of the East and the true teachings of the West. So that's happening right now that technology is growing, and now that world travel is growing. So that was, Yogananda was one of the forerunners of doing this. And he went to America and set up there, and now his principle is we're all one, and that we should all live as one, and that no more should we have differences between this belief system and that belief system. That actually the true teachings of India show that we're all one, that there is no difference between the fact that I might be Muslim and the fact that I might be Christian, or the fact that I might be Hindu or Buddhist.
Wow.
We're all the same.
John, as you visited India, and I hope you also visited a very crowded city like Delhi or any
Yes.
Bombay.
Yes.
So any funny experience you have?
Yes, I couldn't believe very early on when I was visiting Delhi and Calcutta. Mumbai. No, Calcutta has another name. Yeah. I loved the fact that the buses all had a big lean. In Calcutta they definitely did. Because everybody would jump on the bus, and when I was travelling on the bus, and the bus would stop and more people would get on, and the bus would stop and more people would get on. Finally I was standing there in the middle of the bus, and I was shoulder to shoulder to people, and more people were coming on, and I was leaning over more and more, and I was leaning over sideways, and I was now 45 degrees on a lean, and I couldn't move. So I thought I needed to pick my foot up and place it on the ground so that I could stand up straight again. So I lifted my foot, and I couldn't find anywhere to put my foot down because everybody else's feet were there. So I took my foot and put it back where it was, and that space had gone. Someone had put their foot there. So I'm standing on this bus, one foot on the ground, one foot off the ground, on a lean, 45 degrees, for 20 minutes while I tried to get to my destination.
Oh my God.
It was very funny. I never experienced anything like that.
John, as you visited India and stayed for a long time, I think you also had a very good experience about the Indian food and a lot of sweets. So please, can you share with us?
Yes. Well, I love the Indian food because I'm vegetarian. And so it's easy to be vegetarian in India. First arriving there, I arrived on Air India. Then it was automatic. Everybody served vegetarian food unless they asked otherwise. So it's wonderful. It's so easy to get vegetarian food because that was the meal that was served on that airline, at least then. And then I arrived in the country, and most places that everybody knew about vegetarianism. So it's fantastic. So it was so easy to eat. I learned about your sweets and laddus and burfi.
Yeah, burfi.
Yeah, they're wonderful.
Gulab jamun?
Yeah, gulab jamuns. I love gulab jamuns. It's my sweet tooth, yes. Yeah. They are special, aren't they? They're my favourite, with a little bit of honey sauce or sugar sauce. Yes, they're great. And chai. And chai, of course, chai has taken over the world now.
Yeah.
All cafes, most cafes, at least in New Zealand,
the
cafes, they all serve chai, Indian chai now. It's become a little sophisticated and frothy, but you can still get a chai latte now. Everywhere in New Zealand. So that's one food that's come over from India everywhere. And curries. When I was a young man, very small, we had curry. My mother would make curry, but everybody thought there was only one curry, and that was you put curry powder in some vegetables, and that was your curry. But of course, going to India, there's hundreds different types of curries, thousands of different types of curries. So I learned that curry wasn't just one meal, it was many different flavours. So yes, it's so nice to get that sort of food there. Very, very lovely. I love Indian food's my favourite food.
Nice.
Yeah. And I think that's another thing that's travelled around the world is your food. And so many people love going to an Indian restaurant, no matter what country you're in.
Thank you very much, John, for this information and the advices you've given to us. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Mr. Tao.
मिस्टर जॉन से बातचीत करके मुझे बहुत ही अच्छा लगा। वह जब से मैं विदेश में विदेशी लोगों से भारत व भारत की संस्कृति के बारे में सुनता हूँ, तो मुझे एहसास होता है कि मैं खुद अपने देश के बारे में बहुत कम जानता हूँ, पर उनसे भारत के बारे में यह सब सुनकर मुझे बहुत ही खुशी मिलती है। और यही एक वजह भी है कि मैंने सोचा क्यों ना मैं ये एक्सपीरियंस वीडियो के द्वारा आप सबके साथ भी शेयर करूं। ऐसा कि मिस्टर जॉन ने बताया कि कैसे उन्होंने योगा व मेडिटेशन से जुड़कर अपने गेम में इम्प्रूवमेंट किया। वह हम किसी भी फील्ड से क्यों ना हो, एजुकेशन, स्पोर्ट्स, आर्ट्स, म्यूज़िक, डॉक्टर, साइंटिस्ट, हम योगा व मेडिटेशन को अपनी लाइफ में अपनाकर अपनी कैपेबिलिटीज़ का मैक्सिमम आउटपुट ले सकते हैं। बिल्कुल ऐसा ही एक्सपीरियंस मेरी लाइफ में मेरा खुद का भी रहा। मुझे पर्सनली स्टैंटन से जुड़कर और यहाँ आकर बहुत ही अच्छा लगता है। मैं चाहूँगा कि जो भी लोग योगा व मेडिटेशन से जुड़े हुए हैं या जुड़ना चाहते हैं और वो न्यूजीलैंड में हैं या न्यूजीलैंड विजिट करने आ रहे हैं, यहाँ पर ज़रूर आएँ। आपका स्टे यहाँ बहुत ही अच्छा रहेगा व आपको एक अलग ही पॉजिटिव इन्वायरमेंट व पीस का अनुभव होगा। इस वीडियो को शेयर ज़रूर करें व आपको ये वीडियो कैसा लगा व अपने सुझाव कमेंट में ज़रूर दें। वीडियो देखने के लिए आप सबका धन्यवाद व सबको मेरी राम राम व मेरे फौजी भाइयों को मेरा सैल्यूट।